and I'm here today with...
My name is Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
I should not bother.
No.
I really like the sound of it because it's Friday. All right, we'll get started with the stories in a bit right after this break. Join us again.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Risi, where's your sister?
She's in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, call her for me.
Baraka, mommy is calling you.
Risi, Joe, please buy me chill drink from Dogo.
Dogo, you there outside? Abeg, help us bring one chill drink, come.
Risi, sorry, please check if it's your daddy that's at the door. You that your line had been blocked. How did you get the credit that you're using, Ke?
I linked my NIN to my MTN line and got 20k free airtime.
Yes, so link your NIN to your MTN line today and get 20,000 naira bonus airtime. Visit any MTN center near you to begin.
Mommy, where are you going?
MTN Experience Center, of course. You think it's only you that like good thing, eh?
Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, we are ready to get started. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. You can watch us there and tell us your thoughts about the stories. Let's start here with the Daily Sun. This headline: Armed forces will resist pressure to compromise elections, the CDS says. Article MBF, AYCF, Ohaneze all react.
Right. Now, usually towards elections like this, you do hear of things like this happening. But for the CDS himself to come out and say specifically, that, they are under pressure, is giving an impression that all is not too well. And I am not surprised. And anybody who has a sense of history, anybody who has an analytical mind and can think deeply, think beyond parochial lines and think beyond whether you are supporting A or B, think beyond religious lines or beyond ethnic lines, will know that the democracy that we have currently, that we are practicing, and the elections that are coming up very soon can, to some extent, be described as a farce. Because the truth is, to be honest, again, I always say that, look, we need to be honest to ourselves, and this is not anything partisan that A or B. If you look at the scenario, especially at federal level, it doesn't look inspiring. The potential that this country has can produce 10, 20, 30, 50, 1,000 times better leaders than what we have now.
Correct.
Because what we're exhibiting, and we must tell ourselves the truth, what we're exhibiting doesn't give one confidence that Nigeria is going to get out of its present condition. And therefore, I see this CDS whatever as a kind of warning, because he didn't have to say so. It's probably not under, it will probably be under pressure all the time. So what is the pressure? That the military should intervene. He knows they shouldn't do that. But he is talking for the institution. We don't know what the undercurrent is. If you look at the state of the nation, the state of the country as it is now, and you look at even little things like even how the military themselves are being handled. The other day we heard the ex-military men had to go bombard. They were going to bombard the Ministry of Finance and so on and so forth. Problems galore that in itself could jolly well be avoided. A lack of leadership at the center. In reality, we must tell ourselves that truth. There's a gap. I'm not saying the man is not doing well, but he's not showing leadership. And when you look at the scenario of what is about to come, for those of us who have a sense of history, and there are loads of us here, except that some of us just want to go into denial and hope that a miracle will happen. If you plant yam you are not going to even reap cocoyam. It's the same yam you planted that you will reap. And therefore, this, I see what the CDS is saying is more or less some kind of a yellow card to the country that you need to get this thing right. You just need to get it right and stop all this nonsense. What we have is a fact. Even the campaigns towards the elections on all fronts, Nigeria can do better. Even the so-called star boy can do better. Now, the potential that we have as a country is phenomenal. But we end up shortchanging ourselves on every front. And part of the fear, including the military, I am sure, is that we are not even sure which way this election is going to go. Okay, all kinds of enterprises are involved in this, all kinds of intrigues that don't mean well and will not augur well for the country. We can see. The morning shows the day. We have seen the morning, and then it could give us an idea of what the day will look like. So this is, for me, is like some kind of first yellow. That if the politicians don't get their act together, if they think that, what we will do is bamboozle people and buy votes and rig and so on and so forth, this is more or less like saying that Big Brother is watching you. That's what I see, because I don't think this will be the first time the military will be under pressure, and it won't be the last, but coming from the CDS. And let me read what he says here. And he said, of course, there will always be pressure from all quarters wanting to induce security forces, not just the military, the security force and the police. And that's what criminal enterprise is all about. So now we begin to see that some of the movements that you have in the political circles, to be honest with you, I'd refrain from using the word, but now that it's been used by the CDS, I stand behind this protocol. Some of them are criminal enterprises. And our people know. You know that some of these things are criminal enterprises. And it says that, but what makes the difference is the professional approach to dealing with those issues. And that's what, as a military, we are committed to doing. Now, this is why we have ramped up our training in that regard. Sensitization, a lot of engagement. You see what he said? They've wrapped up sensitization within the military so that nobody gets funny. Okay, a lot of engagement across the formations and units is being undertaken. And then we have articulated the code of conduct for all our personnel, which has been done and distributed. So how they should act before, during, and after the elections have been codified. Remember also, politicians are always quick to put military to use. And you can see it every day. Some of them even have them as guards.
Soldiers.
Soldiers, yes. So I pray for our country. I hope somebody will take the wool out of our eyes. Let us have objective and deep thinking. And let us all try and get together and have a better country to live in. This fast that we have, not only has it made the whole thing uninteresting, but it makes your heart beat faster when you look at the consequences of some of the leadership offers that we have.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one seeing something in what this city is, because when I read this story, my heart went bam bam, if you know what I'm saying. Because I hope not that some possibly lower rank officers are coming to, we've had different coups in this country. I hope that he's not giving us an amber light signal that everything needs to be tied, because for the CDS, like you said, he did not have to say this. For him to come out and say that the armed forces is under pressure, we don't know exactly what kind of pressure it is, and we can all just hope that we get the elections right, because I do hope and pray that we're not going for another coup.
Well, I don't know about the military. It's not my constituency, so I can't talk authoritatively. But I know younger people are very restless.
Yeah.
You remember what Captain Blade said here? Well, maybe you wouldn't have heard. When he said that a new commander-in-chief is going to have to face a younger generation of soldiers.
Yeah.
And their thinking is completely different, from a lot of what we see with the older people. That is frightening. It's not just the military one is afraid of. I shudder to think about what will happen if some results go the way I think they might go, And you have to announce it in a country like Nigeria with the level of restlessness. The level of suffering and whatever is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And people are restless. And when it appears as if, you know, some people want to lord it over you, whether you like it or not, we are going to rule you, we are going to do this and do that. Of course, you begin to, and that's why a lot of our politicians, especially those running for president, they should show a lot of leadership and empathy instead of arrogance. They need to show leadership and empathy for the plight of the people instead of this arrogance that we are seeing. It is very, very vital. Very, very vital. And I think a word is enough for the wise. I wasn't too young when we had the military come in, about 67 or thereabouts, 66. A year later, I was in Form 1. And I was an ardent reader of the papers. I mean, so one had a fair idea. The history, I hope history doesn't repeat itself in this case. But today is a Friday. We want you to enjoy yourselves. Yeah, well, so let's go to something that might be brighter.
Okay, this might be brighter. In the next 48 hours, you should possibly expect that there'll be more petrol available. Queues will disappear, because now the headline here in the Vanguard reads, "Fuel scarcity. DSS orders dealers to restore normal supply within 48 hours." When I read this morning, my question, they said if they don't do that, they would activate something across the country. What does that even mean?
No, what it means, look, there are times when certain crimes go beyond the law stipulated to handle them. They could go into sabotage. If the DSS believe, for example, that some people are doing this, sabotaging the security of the country, they will pick them up and charge them for treason. That's why I say that even corruption has to be put under treason.
I agree.
Instead of charging people for corruption, top official 800 and something billion, and you now charge him the same charge that a pickpocket in race course. Yeah. It doesn't add up to me.
And even gives him a plea bargain.
If we know we want to tackle these things, and I like what the DSS have said in this case. Apparently, they must have security reports that this was meant to sabotage, and it's put the whole country into disarray. I mean, look at the way life has been in the past 2 to 3 weeks. At least in Lagos here, heavy traffic.
Yeah.
There was traffic before, all the construction and whatever. You now add queues from petrol station. Some people are at petrol stations from 1 a.m. and so on. All this could lead to a conflagration that will not do anybody any good. And I would, I'd like that the DSS have, they've taken it up and said that the DSS one that yesterday gave all stakeholders in the fuel supply chain, all,
including the NNPC,
and including the petrol attendants.
All
yes. The attendant down to because what they will end up doing sometimes is to go to some stations, take a dipstick and see if you have fuel, and you have to
you're not selling.
Yes, I'd like to know what the punishment will be. And they give them 48 hours to restore normal supply at officially approved rates, because some are selling up to 250.
Yeah.
Okay, or be ready to face the consequences of their action. The DSS warned that after the expiration of the deadline, anyone found to be acting as a saboteur to the supply of petroleum products in the country would be treated as a threat to national security by a security agency and made to face the wrath of the law.
Wow.
Now I have a plea for the DSS. And it's not too difficult to do. I would like you to please make 10 examples. Because some people will defy. They will think it is business as usual.
Yeah.
So I'd like the DSS to be determined to just give us 10 known examples. Get them prosecuted. They might have their day in court and fine, but let us see that for once you say something, not the DSS particularly, but those in authority say something, and the law is applied accordingly. We would love to see that. And Dr. Peter Afunaya, who is the spokesperson of DSS, said, "We were clear and direct in telling the stakeholders in the fuel distribution system that enough is enough, and that whatever is causing the scarcity of petroleum products in the country must be resolved immediately, as Nigerians have the right to see and buy fuel at the official prices at all times. We have also made it clear to them that the government will no longer tolerate any form of scarcity. since the NNPCL and all the parties involved agree there is sufficient fuel in the depots across Nigeria. The DSS should get to the end of this. It is the elite that are doing this, definitely.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons, maybe to discredit this government or to create tension or whatever it is. I challenge the DSS to get to the end of this and make examples of those who are perpetrating this.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, I don't know, do you know any DSS? I'm money depo. I like to go on a raid with them. As soon as they raid one place, they say, "Go film attack." but because Wemimo, it is traumatic.
It is. On Saturday,
It is traumatic.
no, on Sunday, I spent 2 hours. 2 hours.
To be honest with you, I've had to be. I can't be carrying jerry cans at my age up and down. Call Ogbemi Shubu ni petrol station. Ari. You know, I was that was you know, but it's been traumatic. It's cost a lot of money. I'm completely frustrated. The cost of power is going up. Everything is going up.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
The funny thing is the NNPC insists that there is enough petroleum. So what is going on?
But they haven't been carrying out their function well, because what the DSS is doing, they should have done in the first instance.
Yeah, if we still had DPR.
All you hear is one lame statement saying that we have enough.
That's all.
You know.
If we still have the DPR, but now 48 hours. So
48 hours from now is when now? It's from yesterday.
Let's even leave yesterday. Let's count today and tomorrow. So by Sunday we should have fuel. Let's give them some extra hours. So by Sunday,
my friend, Sunday there will be fuel on Sunday. Sunday, Bartholomew.
Boko Haram demands bicycles, condiments, and others from farmers.
Yes.
Now,
what you didn't do is to say that you are reading from the Daily Trust.
The Daily Trust,
which is from the north. So the Daily Trust, that's why we bring news from the Daily Trust, because it's authoritative on the north. And it says here that Boko Haram insurgents have demanded bicycles and condiments from farmers before allowing them to harvest farms produced in Borno State.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? Your guess is as good as mine. A correspondent learned that the insurgents had been extorting and kidnapping farmers while harvesting their farm produce in areas like Kiraku, Koshebe, and Baluburin villages of Mafa LGA. It was gathered that the insurgents, who might have a serious shortage of foodstuff and logistics, we were there as we have shortage of logistics, often rode on animals and bicycles to attack farmers working on the farmlands. It was learned that those of the fighters who lacked strength also looked hungry and weary. According to the farmer, Abdullah Hussein said 5 people who are forcibly taken are seen being held by Boko Haram insurgents because the families are yet to produce 3 bicycles and cooking ingredients. And he says this is very instructive. He says, all thanks to Allah this year, we cultivated massively, but these people have been harassing us on our farmland on a daily basis. They will come and ask for our phones and money. If there is the bread and soft drinks, they will collect it before allowing us to harvest. This story doesn't say that there's been any military reaction to what, but they say that a security force actually said that what the news we have here is true. So what is going on again, like I said, your guess is as good as mine.
So are we going to ban bicycles also? Because the idea of banning
if you ban bicycles, they ask for keke napep. If you ban keke napep,
they ask for camels and horses.
For camels and horses, or just generally ask for most expensive phones that they can go and sell in the market. Don't forget, people think that the Boko Haram people are confined to one place. They don't know that they infiltrate. They come to town. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So is what they think they can get from the villagers now that they're asking for. So you can't ban. If you ban bicycles, they ask for. At some point, they just take 1 or 2 people away.
Food scarcity again. If it gets worse than this, I don't know where we're going. All right, let's go on to the Vanguard newspaper. 953,803 PVCs yet to be collected in Lagos. Lagos alone, almost 1 million.
Yeah.
Go and collect your PVC.
Go on. I don't think there's much publicity to be done about collection of PVC, to be honest with you. Either you want to collect it or you don't want to. Either you want to vote or you don't want to. But it is very important that after May, after the elections, the results will be out probably first week in March, tidied up and so on and so forth. You can no longer phone in to complain. Nobody's going to be listening to you. Because if you phone into my program, the first question I'm going to be asking you is, what did you do? How did you contribute to where we are today? You know? So we plead with everybody, go and get your PVCs. And it says that ahead of the 2023, no fewer than 953,000 PVCs, that's about 1 million, are yet to be collected in Lagos. And of the 6.6 million PVCs received between 2011 and 2021, 5.6 have been distributed as of December 2. This is the resident electoral commissioner in Lagos, Olusegun Agbaje. Reading out the figures at the stakeholders meeting, Agbaje, who disclosed that 13,325 bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) machines that will be used for the polls had been received, urged people to visit the INEC offices to collect their PVCs. Go to the INEC offices nearest to you and go and collect your PVCs. The gentleman says, urging stakeholders to cooperate with the commission to ensure heat-free elections in the state. He says the number of beavers deployed to Lagos is 13,325 and are already on ground. The fear that all of us have, though, is that some of us get a sense that some of the parties have perfected a rigging plan that we can't put our finger on. And we believe that that is reflected in a lot of arrogance and whatever that you see across the board. Okay, we don't know whether it's just pep talk. You understand what I'm saying? But all of us have this, everybody has this hidden fear that is there anything that can break this system that will happen? What I'm going to tell the parties, though, is that they shouldn't go the way of violence.
Right.
Because you don't want to know how ready our people are to protect this voting process. Nobody has a monopoly of anything. So having an army of people running into an electoral whatever, if you better just not contemplate it. Because we need to understand the determination of our people.
People are tired and
People
hungry.
are tired and hungry. We won't have a process where some people come and scatter voting, and then we go through a third slavery under our own people. It's not going to happen. Nobody has a monopoly. And I am sure that the security forces, if they want to tell you the truth, will tell you that they don't have an account of the various kind of weapons that people might be storing in their homes. I'm not encouraging people to do that. No way, but I'm just saying that nobody should come and think that there's a monopoly of all these things. Yes, including traditional means. Benny.
Is that also? That would be quite a sight.
All kinds of things. All kinds of.
Joe, we're begging you in advance. Please.
Now all this is just a joke. But in reality, because people are a bit afraid. When you talk to everybody, people calling you up, everybody is worried that we don't know what these politicians might come up with, or we don't know what their rigging plan would be. And it's because of experience. All of us still remember what happened. That was it not Isol, or where is it?
Yeah.
Yes. When some thugs who think that if you want to put your life on the line, go ahead. You'll be amazed at the resistance you'll get from the people this time around. And I want to plead with these thugs. What is your own business in getting yourself killed because of one politician? I don't understand it.
You are thinking they'll get killed. They don't think so. They think they're defending the person who feeds them.
So what's your business to defend him with your own life?
Right. Because essentially, I think a lot of them have gotten to a point where their lives really mean nothing to them.
Well, a lot of our people, unfortunately, our lives don't mean anything to them. If you look at the level of some of the people who put up some discussions in the social media, you'll be asking, this one has a master's degree. Is this what he can produce? That's after you have translated it, because a lot of the English, you don't even know whether it's pidgin, or you don't know whether it's some direct translation from Fagua's book.
But please, guys, go pick up your PVC. That's your electoral value. I mean, without that, there is zero electoral value. Don't just call to complain. It's that you have a chance to do something. Get your PVC and vote. All right. The Vanguard has a story. Second Niger Bridge will be open to traffic for 30 days, Fashola says adjoining roads still under construction. Sit-at-home order in the southeast is delaying completion. Does it mean in the next 30 days or only for 30 days to try it out?
It's for 30 days to ease movement during Christmas. And that's a very reasonable thing to have done. We will thank the Buhari government for completing this Niger Bridge, to be honest with you. It's one of the things to their credit, and so many other infrastructure developments. I would say, if I were to do a critique of the Buhari government in one or two sentences, it is the lack of detail to the little things and the lack of public empathy to the sufferings of our people. That's what it is, infrastructure-wise. But we'll be talking about the handling of the economy in total, the debts that we have, and so on and so forth. But infrastructure-wise, yes. So we'll be thanking the Buhari government, for the completion of this Niger Bridge, which had been a bridge in contention since I was in university. Yes.
And
I remember my friend Imakoka one time. He slept for about 3 days, Niger Bridge, just trying to cross over to the east.
Wow.
Yes, some years back. So our brothers in the east, now you can go home, and go. There's a nice bridge for you to, and it's just to connect Asaba to Onitsha. I've been on that bridge before. Have you?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Follow me to the east. I'm going this Christmas.
By road?
Yes.
By road?
Nishunland. Let's go now.
Miolo, I'm going home. Okay, thank you very much. Jimi is back at 9 a.m. on Daily. On what? Daily Digest. Yes. And right after the news on the hour, let's go on for hot takes. Let's look at the biggest stories that Nigeria talked about this week for 1 hour. Do you understand?
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired get fired.
It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.